On the illusion spirit continent, the sky suddenly darkened as thunder split the heavens. Don't come any closer. The young girl's eyes were filled with fear. She clutched her chest, her face and clothes stained with blood, trembling in pain on the ground. Before her stood two men in black, their cold, mocking eyes watching her struggle with cruel amusement. Second miss? To them, she was nothing but useless trash, unworthy even to serve the first Mississippi. The phoenix bone has finally merged with me. Keeping you alive would only bring trouble, said Jun Juyue, dressed in a pink gown embroidered with begonia flowers. Her beautiful face, flawless as jade, was twisted with cruelty. Elder sister. It hurts, the girl whispered through tears. I'll listen to you. Please don't be angry. She tried to move closer, her innocent eyes full of fear. The dark birthmark on her cheek stood out sharply. What a fool, Jun Juyue sneered. Even now you still call me sister? You don't deserve it. She waved her hand impatiently. Take her away and drain her blood. The girl's blood was precious. It could help the phoenix bone fully merge. Before ending her life, they would store her blood for later use. Yes, miss, the two guards in black replied. They quickly held Jun Juyao down and cut her wrists without hesitation. It hurts. Please. Sister, help me. Her desperate cries echoed, but the men did not stop. You've been giving blood for over 10 years. You should be used to the pain by now, Jun Juyue said coldly, her eyes fixed greedily on the flowing red liquid. For years, she had relied on this blood to ease the pain of the phoenix bone's backlash. Each time she drank it, the power within her grew stronger. The girl's sobs grew weaker, her voice fading away. Her consciousness slipped into darkness. Her wrists were covered with countless old scars, and her blood filled several porcelain bottles. Thunder rumbled across the sky, lightning flashing through the heavy clouds. Jun Juyue looked up, frowning. The weather changed so suddenly. How unlucky. It must be that foolish girl bringing bad luck again. Move faster, Jun Juyue said impatiently. If she weren't afraid of being discovered, she would never have chosen such a strange place. It was said that beneath this cliff lay the abyss of beasts. Rumor had it that this place once belonged to the beast clans. After the Great War between the immortal and demon realms, many immortals, demons, and beasts fell here, turning it into an ancient battlefield. The heavy presence of resentment and dark energy made some beasts violent and uncontrollable, so the immortals sealed this place. Anyone who entered would surely die. For 1,000 years, no one had dared to take a single step inside. Jun Juyao's body was growing cold, her blood slowing. She was on the edge of death. A guard in black respectfully handed over a porcelain bottle. Miss, the second young lady has stopped breathing. Throw her down, Jun Juyue said, putting several porcelain bottles into her storage bag. Just then, a beam of white light fell from the sky, wrapping Jun Juyao completely. The three of them were blinded by the light and couldn't open their eyes. Such a strange sight. Jun Juyue had never seen anything like it. When they finally opened their eyes, everything had returned to calm. Miss, that light was terrifying. It might be connected to the abyss of beasts below. We should leave quickly, one guard said cautiously. The light shining on the second young lady was truly strange, another guard added, glancing around nervously. I'm not afraid of the living, Jun Juyue said coldly. Why would I fear the dead? She stepped closer to Jun Juyao to see what was going on with the light. After checking carefully and finding nothing unusual, she said, I'll leave your body whole today. Sending you down there can count as a small kindness. At that moment, the body's eyelashes trembled, her eyes moved slightly, and her consciousness began to return. Slap, slap. Lying on the ground, Jun Juyao suddenly opened her eyes and instinctively raised her hand, landing 2 sharp slaps. What on earth? That hurts. Caught off guard, Jun Juyue was struck twice, red marks clearly showing on her face. You dare pretend to be dead? She shouted angrily and struck Jun Juyao, sending her flying. What's going on? The soul of Jun Juyao, now from another world, hadn't even figured out what was happening before she was thrown through the air. Only one thought filled her mind: pain. It hurt so much. Was this woman out of her mind? Didn't she know hurting people was wrong?
Bang!
With a loud crash, she fell hard onto a huge rock. Her back felt as if her bones had shattered. She slid down like a rag doll, lying on the ground as her head buzzed painfully. Wasn't she just at a bar celebrating her friend's birthday? What on earth was happening?
Could it be?
Are you robbers?
Yun Juyu snorted coldly at her words.
Such foolish talk, how annoying. I'm just a struggling worker. I don't have much money. I only own a used car. If you take me to the hospital, you can have it. Was she kidnapped after getting drunk at the bar? That was Jun Juyao's first thought. Although she came from a wealthy family, very few people knew it. She struggled to get up from the ground, her legs trembling, her shaky movements almost comical. You think that'll make me let you go? Stop pretending to be clueless. I was going to make your end quick, but you dared to hit me first. Jun Juyue gritted her teeth as she spoke, her words sounding like something out of a drama. Was this a TV show? Where was her phone? Jun Juyao patted herself down, but pain shot through her wrist, making her teeth chatter. When she looked down, she saw scars all over it.
Had she
been hurt for years? Countless questions swirled in her mind. My head hurts. She clutched her head, her face twisting in pain. It felt like sharp needles were piercing her brain, the pain so strong it took her breath away. Even breathing hurt, as if something was exploding inside her mind. A little girl appeared in her vision, chained and lying on a cold stone bed. From time to time, people came to harm her. At first, she cried and struggled, but later she became like a puppet, moving only when others made her. For more than 10 years, she endured insults and cruelty. Her world was no bigger than a small courtyard, with only a silent maid to care for her. Aside from eating and being hurt, her favorite thing was to sit under the willow tree, staring into the distance from morning till dusk. The years passed in loneliness and despair. The cold wind blew through her empty world, and there was no one she could rely on. How pitiful! How could people be so cruel to a child? Did they not fear retribution? They deserved to face justice. Jian Juyao suddenly woke up completely. She had actually traveled through time. This was too unbelievable. She had only been drinking, and when she opened her eyes, the world had changed. Unbelievable. Ridiculous. Could someone please give her a proper script? Enough madness. Go to your end. Jian Jiue's eyes were full of hatred as she leapt forward, attacking straight at her. 1 second she had traveled through time. The next second she was about to die. What kind of unlucky fate was this? Jian Juyao looked at the furious woman before her, then at the dark, bottomless cliff behind her. The original owner's sister was so cruel, there was no way she would let her live. Rather than being beaten to death, it was better to jump and take a small chance at survival. Her eyes turned red with anxiety. Other people who traveled through time always had some special power, but she had nothing at all. Heaven was truly unfair. You just wait. If I survive, I'll make you pay. Even as a spirit, I won't let you go. Gritting her teeth, Jian Juyao closed her eyes, ready to jump. You worthless thing. Go to your end. Jian Jue shouted angrily, her face full of rage. Jian Juyao had underestimated her strength. Already injured and losing too much blood, her head spun, and she moved too slowly. A heavy strike landed on her left shoulder. The sound of breaking bone was clear. I was already jumping and you still hit me. Jian Juyao cursed under her breath as her body fell straight into the abyss, swallowed by the roaring wind. The wind was fierce, doubling her pain. Her heartbeat slowed, and her body grew cold. Her thoughts drifted away, her mind blank. Her eyes grew heavy, and a bitter smile appeared on her lips. She had always thought time travel was just a fantasy. Now she finally knew what it really felt like. She hadn't even met a handsome man, yet she was the first to die. Such a pity, her life ending so soon. If she had known this would happen, she would at least have tried to fall in love once. She had never even held a man's hand. What a regret.
Fate.
destiny. Her body kept falling, the feeling of death closing in again. At last, she lost consciousness. At the bottom of the cliff, a cold wind blew through strange, twisted plants filled with dark energy and resentment. Jun Jiao's body rolled down quickly and landed on blood-red branches before slowly sliding to the ground. Luckily, she didn't hit the ground directly, so her body remained mostly unharmed. Unseen creatures seemed to smell the blood and rushed closer. Lying on the ground, Jun Jiao didn't notice that several pairs of crimson eyes were already watching her. Then, a golden ancient mark appeared on her forehead, glowing with a sacred light. Wherever the golden light reached, the approaching beasts were destroyed and turned into dust. A mysterious force pulled at her soul. One was the original owner of the body, and the other was Jun Jiao, a soul from another world. Their souls floated side by side, each holding its own place. Under the golden light, the two souls began to merge quickly. There was no resistance, as if they had always been one. When they became one, the soul returned to the body. The golden light lingered on her for a moment, as if repairing her injuries. A voice echoed in her mind, calling for her to wake up.
Master.
Please wake up. But she was too tired, too weak, her thoughts scattered. Her eyes moved slightly, and her fingers trembled. Jun Jiao tried. She kept trying. She didn't want to die like this. After several struggles, she finally opened her eyes. She took a deep breath, her lips trembling. Lying on the ground, she looked around. Her heart sank again. Beside her were piles of bones, and near her hand was a skull. She had never seen such a strange and frightening place. Could it be that she had died and arrived in the underworld? Jun Jiao tried to move and sit up. Pain shot through her body, but she realized that pain meant she was still alive. She felt a wave of relief. Falling from such a height and still surviving meant her fate was strong. She tried again to sit up. Bones of large beasts surrounded her, covered with crawling insects. The sight was both disgusting and terrifying.
Master.
A weak, childlike voice called out to her. Jun Jiao looked around warily.
Who's talking?
Master, I am the spirit of the spatial artifact. Space? Artifact spirit? Jun Jiao almost burst into tears. Her golden cheat finally appeared. You're really the spirit of a spatial artifact? No need to doubt, Master. Look at your finger, and you'll understand. The spirit's voice was weak, as if injured. Jun Jiao raised her hand and looked closely. Finally, she saw the pattern on her index finger, an ancient design of red and black intertwined. It was the birthmark she had carried since birth.
This
is my space? She asked in disbelief. Could it be that she had this space even before she crossed over? She had no idea.
I'm sorry, Master.
I was just awakened by a mysterious force. Do you know where this is? And how did I end up here? Jun Jiao was desperate to know why she had suddenly traveled through time. What kind of strange place is this? She muttered. This is the illusory spirit continent. As for how you came here, I do not know. Illusory spirit continent. The name itself sounded unusual. I'm badly injured. Is there any healing medicine in the space? Now that she had a space, she felt a bit more confident. Because Master has no cultivation, the space is still empty. Jun Jiao felt as if she had been sentenced to death. Her heart sank. Can I at least go inside to rest? This place was terrifying, bones and insects everywhere. Just looking around made her scalp tingle.
I'm sorry, Master.
The space is currently sealed. Jun Jiao was stunned. No medicine, no access. Was she going to die here? How can I gain spiritual power? Can I cultivate? Since she was here, she had to adapt. Without strength, she wouldn't survive long. Cultivation was the only way. The original owner of this body could even fly, clearly a cultivator. If someone like that had opportunities, surely she, being kind-hearted, would too. Master's spiritual root is damaged. You cannot absorb the energy of heaven and earth. Jun Jiao almost fainted on the spot. Being unable to cultivate meant being at the mercy of others. She might as well lie there and wait for death. There wasn't even a chance to fight back. Her heart felt empty. Your spiritual root was shattered by an external force. To cultivate again, it must first be repaired, the spirit of the artifact said, sensing her despair and trying to comfort her. So you mean this body's inability to cultivate was caused by someone? So that was it. No wonder the original owner had no cultivation.
Yun Diao clenchel her fists tightly.
The original owner had truly suffered. But her memories were few, only of that small courtyard. No one could be relied on, so she would rely on herself. A woman from the 21st century didn't need anyone's help. Thinking of this, Jun Juyao gritted her teeth and forced herself to sit up. Sweat rolled down her forehead like raindrops. It hurt. She wanted to cry. Crying inside wasn't shameful. Luckily, nothing was broken. She had to admit, the original owner's body was tough, able to endure pain and falls. If she wanted to live, she had to stand up. After countless tries, Jun Juyao finally managed to stand, trembling. But the ground began to shake, as if a huge creature was running nearby. Frightened, she looked around and saw a large skeleton. Enduring the pain, she crawled inside and covered her mouth, trying to breathe quietly. A boy of about 7 or 8, dressed in torn clothes and covered in blood, was being chased by a black spider the size of a small hill. Jun Juyao's eyes widened in shock. That was a monster beast. She had read about them in books and seen them on TV, but seeing one in real life made her whole body tremble. Anyone timid would have fainted on the spot. Though she was shaking, she stayed strong. She neither cried nor panicked.
Bang! Bang!
With a loud crash, before she could see clearly, the boy was thrown through the air. By chance, he landed near the skeleton.
Puffed.
He spat out blood, his eyes cold and fierce. The huge black creature seemed startled and quickly fled. A human. Seeing the boy's condition, Jun Juyao felt a pang of pity and crawled out from the skeleton. The little boy sensed Jun Juyao's presence and turned to look back. It was actually. His eyes were cold, like ice that had never melted for thousands of years. I mean no harm. Jun Juyao froze under his chilling gaze. He was young, yet his eyes were frighteningly cold. The boy coughed up another mouthful of blood, his small body collapsing as he fainted. Seeing this, Jun Juyao hurried forward. After checking him, she found his body covered in wounds. He was so badly hurt that he might not survive. She herself was in a difficult situation. Should she save him or not? She hesitated, torn between choices. After thinking it over, Jun Juyao decided that as a healer, she could not ignore someone in need. In such a desolate place, meeting another human was rare. She lifted the boy into her arms, looking for a place with water to clean his wounds. The surroundings were dim, and her vision was poor, making it hard to see. Unfamiliar with the terrain, she limped forward slowly, carrying the child. Perhaps because of the giant spider from earlier, no other beasts appeared nearby. After searching for a long time, she found nothing but animal bones. Even the grass was red. There wasn't a single green plant, let alone a water source. Exhausted, she sat on a flat rock, looking at the boy in her arms with a bitter expression. "Master, I may need to rest for a while," came the voice of her spirit companion. To Jun Juyao, it was like a bolt of lightning. "Before you rest, can you tell me what this place is?"
she asked.
"This is the abyss of beasts," the spirit replied weakly. It was once the battlefield between demons and immortals. Because of the heavy evil energy, many creatures here were corrupted and became violent. The immortals sealed them in this place. But there are also many treasures here. If you can find rare materials, you might be able to repair your spiritual roots. The spirit's voice grew faint.
"You sound so weak."
"What can I do to help you recover?" she asked. She understood that the space and its spirit were connected to her. Since she had lost her power, it had weakened the space and the spirit as well.
"Don't worry, Master.
After some rest, I will recover a little," the spirit said softly, its tone full of warmth. "I still don't know your name," she said. "My name is Wangu. Maybe I've been asleep for too long. My memories are a mess, and I seem to have forgotten many things." but I will never forget my master's presence. Wangu didn't know where it came from. In its mind, the master was powerful and should not be in such a state. Every time it tried to figure out what had happened, it couldn't find a single clue. Your name sounds nice. I'm actually curious, when did we form our bond? Perhaps it was in a past life. That was Jun Juyao's first thought. Wangu had been with her since birth. The mark on her body had always been there, and her parents had been puzzled by it. They even consulted several experts. Each gave a different answer, and in the end, nothing was resolved. She thought the mark looked beautiful and didn't pay much attention to it. However, her soul had crossed into this body. It wasn't originally hers. Yet the mark existed on the original owner too, which was quite strange. I cannot answer that, Master, Wangu said softly. But please be careful. When your life is in danger, I will awaken to protect you. It needed to rest and recover, and it wanted to break the seal that locked the space. I'm not strong at all. How can I go treasure hunting like this?
Yun Tiao sighed.
Is there any weapon in the space? Something to help me stay alive. At least a knife, so she could fight back if needed.
Take care, Master.
As Wangu spoke, a dagger and 2 books appeared in Jun Juyao's hands. One book contained cultivation techniques, and the other described the spiritual herbs and fruits of this place. They felt heavy in her hands, and a faint chill spread through her palms. The dagger's handle was carved with a flower-like pattern, and a red gem was set at the top. It looked elegant and valuable. Thank you, Jun Juyao said sincerely, grateful for Wangu's gift. In this unfamiliar world, she had to rely on herself. Whether I survive or not depends on you, she murmured, encouraging herself as she put away the dagger and books. There was no time to read now. At any moment, a large beast might appear. She picked up the little boy and continued searching for water. She didn't know how long she had walked, at least 2 or 3 hours. Hungry and exhausted, Jun Juyao felt as if she had walked more in one day than in her entire life. In her old world, she always traveled by car and rarely walked. Now, she had to rely completely on her own feet. Every step had to be careful, her eyes scanning the surroundings, afraid that one careless move would make her a beast's next meal. Sigh, Giant Juyao let out a long breath. She could barely move another step. Looking down at her little brother in her arms, her eyes were bloodshot. To be honest, she was reaching her limit. She was badly injured and had lost too much blood. If she hadn't been trained in Taekwondo and raised in a family of traditional doctors, practicing with her grandfather since childhood, she would have fainted long ago. Still, she needed some hope. After searching for so long without finding even a drop of water, this place felt as harsh as a desert. She tilted her head back, closed her eyes, and felt a wave of despair. Just then, she heard a faint chirping sound. It wasn't loud, but she caught it. Turning toward the sound, she saw a blood-red snake coiled around a rabbit. The rabbit looked weak and near death. The snake looked extremely venomous. The rabbit didn't struggle as the snake dragged it into the red grass. It was the law of nature. Only the strong survive. The weak are destined to fall, and only strength can keep one alive in a place like this. Giant Juyao's resolve to become stronger grew even firmer. She kept walking, determined not to stop until she found water. After a while, she spotted a strange tree. Its leaves were yellow, and 9 purple fruits hung from its branches. The fruits looked like large lychees. Giant Juyao slowly approached. Even fruit could fill her stomach for now. Just then, a deep roar shook the air, nearly bursting her eardrums. A massive black and red lizard stood before her, its limbs strong and covered in thick scales that gave off an aura of power. It was roaring at her, but Giant Juyao didn't back down. She gently placed the little boy on a nearby rock, then drew the dagger Wangu had given her and took a fighting stance. She knew she couldn't outrun a creature with 4 legs. Rather than be hunted down, she would fight to the end. The lizard didn't move. Its eyes were fixed on the fruits hanging from the tree. Then she understood. Rare treasures of nature were often guarded by powerful beasts. It was true after all. Don't come any closer, or I'll destroy all the fruits on this tree.
She warned.
With quick movements, Giant Jiuyao rushed to the tree and began to climb.
Roar.
The giant lizard seemed to understand her words and suddenly became furious, opening its mouth wide and roaring at her. Roaring won't help. Stay still, or this will be the result. She thrust her dagger into the tree trunk, and purple-red liquid flowed down its surface. The tree was actually bleeding. Jun Jiuyao was surprised. The giant lizard grew anxious, moving its limbs restlessly on the ground, as if afraid she would harm the tree. Seeing this, Jun Jiuyao felt more confident. She quickly took out a book and began searching for information about the fruit, whether it was edible or not. The text was written in ancient script. Fortunately, her grandfather had loved ancient literature, and she had learned quite a bit when she was young. She flipped through the pages rapidly, glancing between the lizard and the descriptions of rare treasures in the book. Halfway through, she found it. Ziyang fruit. Its trunk was dark purple, its leaves golden. It absorbed the energy of heaven and earth, making it a natural spiritual treasure. The fruit ripened once every 100 years, turning purple with a grainy surface. Each harvest produced 9 fruits. The flesh contained powerful spiritual energy that could enhance a cultivator's strength, restore damaged energy, and strengthen the body. No wonder the giant lizard cared so much. It was indeed a precious thing. Jun Jiuyao put the book away, her eyes shining as she looked at the purple fruit. It smelled sweet and refreshing, making her feel energized. She almost drooled. After all, she was both thirsty and hungry. If you can understand me, nod your head.
Yuntiao certes. Roar.
The giant lizard bared its teeth, looking as if it wanted to snap at her. If you understand, nod. Otherwise, I'll destroy the fruit, and the tree too. She pointed her dagger at the fruit threateningly. The giant lizard trembled with anger, but finally nodded, showing that it understood. She remembered how she used to train her dog. It wasn't so different. Despite its size, this creature wasn't much unlike a pet. There are 9 Ziyang fruits in total. I'll take 6, and you can keep 3. I won't harm the tree. You can guard it and wait for it to bear fruit again. How about that?
Roar.
The giant lizard protested angrily, its tail slapping a nearby rock, making the ground shake. Don't be upset. Everyone who helped gets a share. My brother and I will each take 3 fruits, and you'll also get 3. That's fair. Jun Jiuyao tried to calm the creature down. If it kept roaring, other beasts might come, and that would be trouble. As she spoke, she noticed that the big lizard had wounds on its body, legs, head, and belly. It must have been hurt by other beasts. Such fine spirit fruits would surely attract many creatures. Ruhar. The big lizard shook its body, still unwilling to agree. Think about it. The tree will stay here for you, and you can eat more Ziyang fruits later. But if you keep roaring and attract other beasts, you'll lose both the tree and the fruits. Once we divide them, you can leave and use them to improve your strength. Jun Jiuyao tried to persuade it. She was truly afraid of drawing more beasts. If that happened, they would all die and no one would get to eat anything. Before dying, she would rather eat all 9 fruits herself. At least she wouldn't die hungry. These weren't just spirit fruits, they were her food. The big lizard looked at the fruits, then at Jun Jiuyao. Its anger slowly faded. It had just fought a fierce battle, defeated the guardian beast here, and earned this chance. Getting 3 fruits was already good enough. Keeping the tree was useless. There were many powerful beasts around. If you hesitate too long, you might not get even one, Jun Jiuyao said, glancing around nervously, afraid that other beasts might come. The big lizard circled on the ground twice, as if thinking it over. This human was really lucky. It was frustrating. Its eyes rolled, and finally, it nodded in agreement. Seeing it agree, Jun Jiuyao quickly picked all 9 fruits. She put 6 against her chest and held the remaining 3 in her hand before climbing down swiftly. She reached the little boy and lifted him onto her back. These 3 Ziyang fruits are yours. Since you agreed, don't go back on your word. I saw many beasts heading this way. If you stay, they'll tear you apart. Let's go our separate ways and take care of ourselves. After saying this, Jun Jiuyao threw the 3 fruits in different directions. The moment the first fruit flew out, the big lizard rushed after it. Carrying the boy on her back, Jun Jiuyao ran as fast as she could. She had to get away quickly. The big lizard would never let her go easily. The giant lizard found 2 Xiang fruits and rushed off in a third direction, its eyes fixed only on the fruits, completely unaware that Jun Jiuyao had escaped. When it finally found the third fruit and hurried back, the person under the tree was already gone. Roar! The giant lizard let out an angry cry, venting its frustration on the spot. Cunning human. Next time, I'll tear you apart. It knew staying here was dangerous. Eating the Xiang fruits to increase its strength was the wiser choice. Just a little more and it could evolve. Jun Jiuyao's leg was bleeding, but she seemed not to feel the pain. She kept running without looking back, searching for a place to rest. No one knew how long she ran before she finally collapsed to her knees, gasping for breath. Even then, she stayed alert, scanning her surroundings. She spotted a building. To be exact, it looked like a small palace. Carrying the little boy on her back, Jun Jiuyao stood up and stared toward the palace. Could someone be living there? She wasn't sure and didn't dare to approach recklessly. Instead, she watched from a distance for a long time. Nothing seemed unusual.
Wait.
A huge bird flew overhead. Its gray-white feathers spread like small fans. It looked somewhat like a peacock, but not quite the same. She couldn't tell what kind of bird it was. Holding the boy tightly, she hid in the grass. Then, bang! The giant bird was suddenly thrown backward. Feathers scattered through the air as it wobbled, clearly injured. This was a barrier she had read about in books. Jun Jiuyao stared at the palace in disbelief. The bird flapped its wings, frightened, trying to escape quickly. Below, a massive python raised its huge head and swallowed the bird in one bite. Jun Jiuyao covered her mouth, her eyes wide with shock. The python's body stretched for hundreds of feet. A single horn rose from its head, its scales glowing with red patterns. It looked fierce and deadly, a master of ambush. Unbelievable. The abyss of beasts was like a giant wild zoo. Everything could be found here. Jun Jiuyao held the little boy tightly as she lay flat on the ground, not daring to move at all. The giant bird had been swallowed in one bite, and her small body was nothing compared to that creature. The horned python did not leave. It lifted its head, its basin-sized eyes scanning the grass around them. Jun Jiuyao swallowed hard, barely breathing, waiting for the serpent to go away. But fate had other plans. The horned python seemed to catch the scent of the Xiang fruit and slithered straight toward the grass where she was hiding. Seeing this, Jun Jiuyao quickly got up, tucked the little boy under her arm, and ran toward the palace. The python's huge head swayed as its eyes gleamed with greed. It would not let her escape so easily. Its tail swept across the ground. Jun Jiuyao ran as fast as the wind, trying to dodge, but the tail still struck her. She and the boy were both thrown into the air, flying toward the palace. She closed her eyes in despair. She knew there was a barrier ahead. She had just seen the giant bird thrown back by it. Luckily, she held the boy tightly in her arms. Because of the serpent's force, the boy slowly opened his eyes. He found himself in a warm embrace, looking up at the small human who was protecting him. A strange feeling rose in his heart. He was still weak from his injuries and recent awakening. "Let me go." "I can't breathe," the boy said softly, struggling to speak. Hearing his voice, Jun Jiuyao opened her eyes. Their gazes met. "I've carried you all this way, and it seems we still can't escape death." "Well then, at least we'll face it together," she said quietly. The barrier was right in front of them. Jun Jiuyao accepted her fate and rushed straight into it. The boy wanted to push her away, but was afraid of hurting her. Torn between choices, he raised his small hand, forming a protective shield around her. To their surprise, the barrier did not throw them back. They rolled across the ground, still holding each other, until they finally stopped. The boy coughed up blood again and fainted. Jun Jiuyao felt no pain, only the warmth spreading across her chest. Looking down, she was startled. The boy's lips were stained with blood, and her clothes were once again soaked in red.
Hey.
Wake up. Jun Jiuyao placed her fingers on his wrist. His pulse was weak and irregular, and his internal organs were badly injured. Without treatment, he would surely die. She withdrew her hand and looked outside the barrier, where a giant python was being thrown back again and again. The palace doors were tightly closed. The gate tower was beautifully carved, though not large. It looked grand, clearly not an ordinary residence. On both sides of the gate, the gardens were carefully designed, full of elegance and charm. Perhaps because of age, the words above the gate had become unreadable. The giant python seemed to have gone mad, still crashing into the barrier. Its persistence made her feel a bit of admiration. That thick-skinned creature was not one to provoke. Afraid that it might actually break through, Jun Jiuyao didn't hesitate. She picked up the little boy and ran toward the palace. Surprisingly, the area around the palace was covered in green grass. Passing through a long, ancient corridor, she reached the back of the palace, but didn't dare to go inside yet. The python had seen her and was trying to get in. She didn't know how long the barrier would last. If she disappeared from sight, maybe the creature would leave. The backyard was filled with rare flowers and plants, their fragrance spreading through the air. Under a tall ancient tree, there was a clear pool of water. Jun Jiuyao almost cried with relief. After searching for so long, she had finally found water right here in the palace. She quickened her pace and ran to the pool. She was terribly thirsty. Placing the boy by the edge, she splashed some water on her face. The water looked clean, but she didn't dare drink it directly. Being from the modern world, she worried about parasites. She couldn't drink the water, but she could eat the xiang fruits. She took them out, peeled off the skin, revealing the purple-red flesh, and carefully fed the juice to the boy, bit by bit. She ate the rest herself, feeding him 4 fruits in total and finishing the leftovers. The fruit was sweet and carried a refreshing fragrance. It was the best fruit she had ever tasted. Then she took off her outer garment and tore it into strips. She also removed the boy's clothes to help him. There were too many wounds to count, and the sight of them made one's heart ache. So young, and already so pitiful. Jun Jiuyao dipped a strip of cloth in water and gently cleaned the boy's injuries. When she wiped the blood from his face, a delicate, jade-like face appeared before her. His skin was fair and smooth, his eyebrows dark and slender, his nose straight, and his eyelashes long and thick. His face was so perfect that it seemed flawless. The only flaw was that he was far too thin. When he grew up, he would surely capture many hearts. After finishing, she wrapped the boy in her remaining outer robe, then crouched by the pond to clean her own wounds. The whole journey felt like a dream. She even thought that fate was playing a joke on her. No one would willingly come to such a strange place. Each time she wiped her wounds, the pain made her grit her teeth. When she was done, she put on the complicated ancient-style clothes again. Looking around at the strange spiritual herbs, Jun Jiuyao crouched down to study them carefully. She realized that she had never seen these plants before. She took out the book given to her by Wangu and flipped through it, matching the descriptions. 9-curve spirit ginseng, formed from the energy of heaven and earth, rich in spiritual power, helps wounds heal quickly. Blood spirit grass, its leaves are red like blood, filled with mysterious energy, and is an important ingredient for refining healing pills. Jade marrow mushroom, shines like jade and holds strong life energy. After comparing the descriptions, Jun Jiuyao had a general understanding of the herbs around her. As a descendant of a family of traditional doctors, she had a natural talent for recognizing herbs. She even had an excellent memory. She dug out a 9-curve spirit ginseng, which was as thick as her small arm, looking like a radish. She washed it by the pond and took a few bites. It was crisp, with a faint fragrance. Holding the ginseng, Jun Jiuyao walked toward the palace, eating as she went. She wanted to see what was inside. She had been here for quite a while and hadn't seen a single person. She wondered if anyone actually lived in this palace. The door was covered in thick dust, clearly showing that no one had lived there for a long time. I entered this place by mistake and was too hungry, so I ate one of the owner's spirit ginsengs. I hope you can forgive me, Jun Juyao said as she stood at the entrance of the back hall. After waiting for a long time with no response, she had almost finished eating the spiritual ginseng. Is anyone living here? She asked again. Still, no one answered. Jun Juyao swallowed the last bite of ginseng, stepped forward, placed her hand on the door, and pushed hard.
Creak.
The door opened. A wave of dust rushed into her nose. The little boy lying on the ground twitched his eyelashes slightly, perhaps because of the ziang fruit. Seeing this, Jun Juyao was certain that no one lived here. She quickly walked to the boy, wrapped him in her clothes, and carried him inside the hall. It was a bit dark, but she could still see the furnishings clearly. The floor was made of black jade, the beams were finely carved, and the crystal lamps gave off a faint glow. Everything looked luxurious. The door she entered faced the main hall directly, and the long corridor stretched straight ahead. On both sides of the corridor were beautifully carved murals, covered with years of dust. She didn't stop to look at them. Instead, she searched for a bedroom where she could lay the child down. Ideally, she wanted to find a pot to boil the 9-curved ginseng into a tonic to help heal his wounds. She turned left and opened a door. It was a study. Without paying much attention, she continued forward and opened another door. This one looked like an alchemy room, filled with jars and bottles. Most importantly, there was a large furnace inside, similar to the ones used by ancient alchemists. It must be a pill refining room. Without thinking too much, she kept searching for a room with a bed. After passing through an armory, a storage room, and a kitchen, she finally found a bedroom. However, it looked rather empty, almost bare. There was nothing inside except a white jade bed. Jun Juyao gently ran her fingers across the bed, feeling a soft warmth spread through her heart. What a fine piece of work. The owner of this hall must have been very wealthy, perhaps even a powerful cultivator. Jun Juyao felt as if she had stumbled upon a great treasure. She cleaned the dust off the jade bed, laid the boy down, covered him with her clothes, and hurried to the kitchen. There, she picked up a pot she had never seen before, along with 2 bowls and 2 spoons, and headed toward the pond in the backyard. After digging up 3 9-curved spirit ginsengs, she also gathered many other spirit herbs that could replenish blood, restore energy, and strengthen the body. She put them all into a pot. There were no fire starters in the kitchen, and after searching for a long time, Jun Juyao couldn't find any. With no other choice, she decided to make fire by rubbing wood together. After much effort, she finally managed to get a small flame. Once the fire was burning, Jun Juyao began looking for other food. Unfortunately, there was nothing else to eat. The pot of mixed herbs and water was finally ready. She filled 2 bowls, took a small sip despite the heat, and found that it didn't taste strange. After tasting carefully, she noticed the herbal soup was slightly sweet. Ignoring the heat, she finished 1 bowl, then carried the other into the bedroom. She fed the little boy spoon by spoon. Seeing that he swallowed instinctively, she went to make another bowl and fed him again. She then ate the remaining herbs and ginseng herself. Good things shouldn't be wasted. These were all powerful tonics, and the body's original owner had been severely anemic. After eating, she went to the alchemy room. Once inside, she first checked the shelves filled with bottles and jars. Each small porcelain bottle was beautifully made, carved with magnolia patterns, and neatly labeled. 3rd grade detox pill. 5th grade recovery pill. 3rd grade spirit gathering pill. 5th grade body cleansing pill. There were also 2 white jade boxes. One contained phoenix spirit fruit, said to be nourished by the blood of a phoenix. This fruit holds great healing power. It can restore life, mend bones and flesh, and is known as one of the sacred fruits for recovery. The other contained dragon radiance fruit, born from the land of bones. Its crystal-clear body is said to be formed from dragon blood and bone. It can repair damaged souls, enhance spiritual power, and help one break through limits to achieve perfect rebirth. Jun Juyao almost dropped them in surprise. They were all priceless treasures. She knew about the body cleansing pill. Its name alone was famous. It could purify the body and strengthen the meridians, something every cultivator longed for. But these two spirit fruits seemed even more powerful. She opened the box with the phoenix spirit fruit. The fruit inside was red like blood, glowing softly. Restore life, mend bones, rebirth through fire. Could it also repair a damaged spiritual root? She wasn't sure and didn't dare to test it recklessly. The description sounded extraordinary. It was clearly no ordinary item. She carefully put the fruit away and then went to the study. She found that, besides the paintings and calligraphy, there was nothing extra in the room. Then she went to the weapon room and discovered more than a dozen swords and a long spear. In the storage room, there were many shiny stones. Junjiao guessed they might be spirit stones. There were also several sets of men's clothing. The fabric felt smooth and soft, clearly of high quality. On an empty shelf sat a black jade box. On it were the words, "Storage bracelet." This was exactly what she needed. Since her personal space was sealed and unusable, she had been worrying about how to carry everything away. It was as if her wish had come true. Junjiao was so happy that she almost jumped with joy. It seemed that fate was still on her side, one lucky opportunity after another. Whatever others had, she now had too. Once her spiritual root was restored, conquering the illusion spirit continent would only be a matter of time. She took out the bracelet. It looked ancient, carved with old patterns and inlaid with countless dazzling gems. At first glance, it gave off a sense of elegance within its simplicity. From what she had read in books, such storage bracelets required a drop of blood to recognize their owner before they could be used. She put the bracelet on her wrist. It looked a bit large and didn't fit well. Feeling a little nervous, she still bit her finger and let a drop of blood fall onto the bracelet. The bracelet quickly absorbed the blood, and in an instant, it merged completely with her. Its size adjusted perfectly to her wrist. Amazing, truly amazing. Since arriving here, her initial shock had turned into calm acceptance. A modern person trying to survive in a world of cultivation really needed strong adaptability. Otherwise, one might be scared to death by the monsters alone. She turned to the spirit stones and focused her mind. Several large boxes disappeared right before her eyes. Then she stored everything useful into the bracelet, alchemy books, herb catalogs, and anything of value from the rooms. With just a thought, whatever she wanted would appear before her. Her excitement and joy were beyond words. One word: wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. It felt even better than winning a fortune. Even the word wonderful wasn't enough to describe it. Holding 2 jade boxes, she went to the bedroom. She took out the phoenix spirit fruit and placed the dragon flame fruit beside the young boy. The boy was badly injured, and it seemed unlikely he would survive. Junjiao felt a pang of pity as she saw his faint breathing. Perhaps giving him the dragon flame fruit might help him live again. As for her own spirit, she didn't seem to have any problems, so the phoenix spirit fruit would be better for repairing her spiritual roots. After thinking for a moment, Junjiao decided to eat the phoenix spirit fruit. She found that the spirit fruits of the illusion spirit continent tasted better one after another. What a pity, they were so rare. After finishing her fruit, she fed the dragon flame fruit to the boy. Since he was unconscious and couldn't eat on his own, Junjiao carefully crushed the fruit and fed it to him bit by bit with a bowl. When she was done, she was completely exhausted. She moved the boy a little further in and lay down beside him on the jade bed. Since arriving in this world, she hadn't had a proper rest. Falling off a cliff, escaping from beasts, she had been living in constant fear. Now, this palace felt peaceful, and the tension in her heart finally eased. She closed her eyes, ready for the pain that would come. Repairing spiritual roots was said to be extremely painful, and Junjiao was prepared for it. Looking at the boy, she gently brushed the hair from his face and whispered, "No matter what, you must live. One day, we'll make those who hurt us pay." She would avenge the original owner's suffering. Junjiao didn't deserve to be called a sister. And the original parents, what were they thinking? She didn't want to speak ill of them, since they were the original mother and father, but she was no longer the same person. She was now the new Jun Jiuyao, no longer the foolish second young lady of the Jun family. If needed, she would cut all ties and live freely under the heavens. As her thoughts wandered, she suddenly felt heat spreading through her body. Waves of warmth swept across her skin. Her blood seemed to boil, and a sharp pain grew in her lower abdomen. She sat up quickly and took out the cultivation manual given by Wangu. After scanning through it, she roughly understood what to do. Not wanting to disturb the boy on the bed, she hurried toward the pool. It was so hot, unbearably hot. It felt as if a fire was burning inside her. Without thinking, Jun Jiuyao plunged into the water. Splashes rose, ripples spreading across the surface. Even with her whole body submerged, the burning sensation didn't stop. It continued to surge through her veins, testing every part of her strength. Her blood felt like boiling water, pounding against her soul. Each wave of pain was like being cut by 1,000 blades. Jun Jiuyao kept her eyes tightly shut, clenching her teeth to endure it. She understood how harsh the world of cultivation was. Here, she had no family or friends. Everything depended on her own strength. Revenge and the hope of finding her way back kept her going through the painful trials brought by the phoenix spirit fruit. In a world where only the strong were respected, she refused to be weak or helpless. Spiritual energy gathered from all directions, swirling wildly around her. It tore at her skin as a powerful force surged through her blood. Following the method she had read in an ancient book, she tried to guide the energy into her body. With each breath, the energy flowed inside her, and the water around her formed a strong, spinning vortex. Her body began to rise, lifted by an unseen power. Her eyes remained closed as the energy inside her clashed and roared. Her broken spiritual root, nourished by both energy and flame, slowly came together and began to grow again. Inside the room, the young boy still lay unconscious, but his body was changing, growing into that of a young man. A faint golden light surrounded him, lifting him into the air as he slowly spun. The wounds on his arms and body healed rapidly. His face was sharp and well-defined, his features almost too perfect, though his brows were furrowed in pain. A drop of blood slid from the corner of his lips. The golden light filled the entire room. By the pool, Jun Jiuyao bit her lip, enduring wave after wave of spiritual energy and burning heat. Her bones shattered and healed again and again. She clenched her fists so tightly that her nails cut into her palms, blood dripping down. She couldn't faint. She couldn't die. She had to live. Over and over, she shouted this in her heart. The pain was unbearable, like grass being torn from its roots.
Ah!
Jun Jiuyao cried out, her voice filled with agony. She spat out a mouthful of blood. Her back began to itch intensely, as if countless tiny creatures were crawling beneath her skin. Then the heat and pain faded, replaced by a tingling numbness that made her grit her teeth. It was almost worse than the pain itself. The flow of spiritual energy grew even stronger. She skipped the early stage of the spirit absorption realm and directly broke through to its late stage. But it still didn't stop. Realm divisions, lower world, spirit absorption realm, spirit movement realm, spirit profound realm, spirit heaven realm, spirit king realm, spirit emperor realm, spirit saint realm, and immortal transformation realm. Each realm is divided into early, middle, and late stages. Jun Jiuyao's body felt like a balloon about to burst, on the verge of collapse. Perhaps she had absorbed too many heavenly treasures. After her spiritual root was repaired, her cultivation rose uncontrollably, unable to stop or slow down. If this continued, her body would surely explode. Her realm surged to the middle stage of the spirit movement realm, then the late stage before finally halting. Jun Jiuyao's mind was in chaos. She didn't know how to stabilize the raging spiritual power. She couldn't die yet. She still had to avenge the original owner.
Ah!
Her cry echoed through the entire abyss of beasts. At that moment, above the cliff of the abyss, a vortex appeared in the sky. Thunder roared within it. Countless cultivators flew over, gazing at the strange phenomenon. Could it be that a great treasure has appeared? A man in his 40s, dressed in a blue robe, spoke. With such a display, I think it's the birth of a divine beast. Maybe something precious has emerged within the abyss of beasts. If it's really inside the abyss, we can't enter. We'll never know what it is. 7 or 8 powerful cultivators stood at the cliff's base, discussing among themselves. I want to live. Heaven cannot stop me.
Break.
Jun Juyao shouted, drawing in all the spiritual energy she could. Blood trickled from the corner of her mouth. Finally, just before her body reached its limit, she broke through to the early stage of the spirit profound realm. She tried to suppress her power, afraid that advancing too quickly would harm her future cultivation. Her realm finally stabilized at the middle stage of the spirit profound realm. Her energy settled, the pain vanished, and her body felt light and powerful, like a bird ready to soar. She opened her eyes and rose gracefully from the water. The feeling was incredible. She could actually fly. Jun Juyao landed gently and stood firm. She hadn't expected it. She turned out to be a cultivation genius, reaching the middle stage of the spirit profound realm in just one day. The feeling of rising so quickly was amazing. She took out a set of men's clothes, put them on, and tore off the larger parts for convenience. Her movements were quick. She was worried about the little boy. If she had almost fainted from the pain, could the boy still be alive? Jun Juyao hurried to the hall doors and rushed inside. On the bed, the boy's lips were stained with blood, and his clothes had fallen to the floor. His face was pale, almost lifeless. Oh no, don't tell me he's gone. Murmuring to herself, Jun Juyao quickly checked his pulse. Wasn't the dragon flame fruit supposed to bring someone back to life? After checking, she found that the boy's internal organs had already healed, and all his wounds were gone. Only then did Jun Juyao relax. She fetched a basin of water and gently wiped the blood from his face. After all that effort, she was completely exhausted. Outside, the night was pitch black, not even a shadow in sight. Thankfully, the barrier kept out the sounds of beasts. She lay down beside the boy, close enough to feel his warmth. Covering them both with a piece of clothing, she soon drifted off to sleep.
It was a peaceful night.
At dawn, the boy opened his eyes. His gaze was cold and sharp, shaped by years of surviving in the dangerous abyss of beasts, where one careless move could mean death. He suddenly realized he was lying in the arms of a human woman. His face turned red, and he tried to move away, but she was still asleep, holding him tightly. Don't move. Sleep a little longer, Jun Juyao murmured drowsily, patting his back gently. The unexpected gesture made him freeze, his face burning with embarrassment. He glared at the woman before him. Let go. His young voice was cold as ice. Jun Juyao frowned and reluctantly opened her eyes. Seeing the boy awake, she asked calmly, Do you feel any discomfort? She checked his pulse again, her movements steady and professional. The boy looked at her and said quietly, I'm fine now. Then he pulled his hand back. So young, yet so cold-hearted. If I hadn't saved you, you might not even be alive now. Jun Juyao spoke in a lecturing tone. If she hadn't risked her life to rescue him, this little boy would have been gone for sure. You took off my clothes? The boy asked unhappily. Little one, how could I treat your wounds without removing them?
Jun Juyao replied casually.
The boy lowered his eyes and pushed away her hand. Men and women should keep their distance. Don't you know what modesty means? Jun Juyao was speechless. What was there to be shy about with such a skinny little thing? You're young, but you sure have a lot to say. He somehow produced a set of clothes and turned his back to her as he sat up, clearly not wanting to be seen.
There's hardly any flesh on you. What's there to look at?
Jun Juyao stood up, put on her shoes, and got to her feet. The boy's face turned red. He couldn't believe a human woman had seen him like that. I'm going to make some food, Jun Juyao said, ruffling his hair before turning to leave. In an instant, the boy transformed into an adult man. He closed his eyes to sense his condition. His old wounds were healed, and his spirit felt stronger than before. Looking around, he wondered, where is this place? Just a moment ago, He had been feeling proud of himself, but now he had somehow turned small again. "Today we're having grilled fish," Jun Juyao said, standing at the door with 2 fish in her hands. Seeing him in oversized clothes, she looked surprised. "You're too small. Those clothes are dragging on the floor." This little one was no ordinary child. Jun Juyao could tell he had a storage pouch or maybe a storage ring. So young, yet already a cultivator. Children in this world were truly remarkable. Still, she couldn't tell what level he was at. The boy turned away without speaking, looking proud and stubborn.
Yun Tiao smiled slightly.
So young, yet already rebellious. Carrying the fish, she headed to the kitchen. Yesterday, while training by the pond, she had found many silver fish there. She needed to eat well to have the strength to find a way out. Humming a tune, Jun Juyao cleaned the fish in the kitchen. The boy, now dressed, walked around the hall but found nothing unusual. When he went out and saw the spirit herbs in the garden, he noticed something unusual.
There were so many of them.
He crouched down and observed for a long time. This human woman was truly a mystery. The abyss of demons was protected by a barrier. No one could enter, especially not a human. Where had she come from, and how had she found a palace here? The young boy walked to the edge of the barrier and gently touched it. As expected, it was protected. After checking around, he went to the kitchen, leaned against the door, and quietly watched Jun Juyao's every move. She must have eaten something unusual. How could someone without any spiritual power suddenly reach the spirit profound realm? After her cultivation, Jun Juyao's senses had become very sharp. She could feel someone watching her. "Go wash your face. The food will be ready soon," she said naturally. "What's your name?" the boy asked. "Yun Tiao." "You can call me Sister Yao," she replied while busy cooking. "And you, little one, what's your name?"
Jingyuan.
"That's my name." After saying that, Jingyuan turned and left. What a proud little one, she thought. But his name sounded ancient and pleasant. She never expected that the one who would bring him warmth and protection would be a human woman. Jingyuan sat on the white jade bed, his ears slightly red as he remembered being held all night. He knew Jun Juyao had saved him. Otherwise, the moment he woke up, he might have struck her down by instinct. Jun Juyao came in carrying a plate of fish and placed it on the table. "My cooking isn't great, but don't waste it. We don't know how long we'll have to stay here." The way out was difficult. Outside, dangerous spirit beasts roamed everywhere. Jingyuan walked over, sat down, and silently picked up his chopsticks to taste the fish. There was spiritual energy in the meat. "How is it?" Jun Juyao asked, sitting across from him with her chopsticks. "Where did you get this fish?" Jingyuan looked up and asked.
"From the pond in the courtyard."
"There are plenty more in there." Jun Juyao picked up a piece of fish and tasted it carefully. Her eyes widened in surprise. There's spiritual energy in this fish. She was now a true cultivator, already at the middle stage of the spirit profound realm. He was very sensitive to spiritual energy. "These fish aren't ordinary. There might be a treasure under the pond," Jingyuan said calmly. "Ordinary water couldn't raise fish filled with spiritual energy. I practiced in the pond last night and didn't sense anything unusual, let alone a treasure. The water there feels no different from normal water. After we finish eating, I'll go down and take a look." He spoke with the tone of a little adult, giving off the feeling of an older brother. "How long have you been in the abyss of demons? Do you know how to get out?" Jun Juyao asked while eating fish quickly, her words muffled. "I don't know how long I've been here. I only woke up a few days ago. As for how to leave, I have no idea." When Jingyuan opened his eyes, he found himself in a dark cave. He didn't know how he got there or how long he had been asleep. During these days, he had been hunted by the beasts that lived here. But he still remembered his name, Jingyuan. All signs suggested that he might have lost his memory. Jun Juyao looked at him carefully. "What do you mean by just woke up? Are you a native?" she asked, tilting her head, as if doubting he was human. His weakened spirit had caused him to appear as a child. Because his soul was unstable, he couldn't use his full strength. Each time he used spiritual power, his soul suffered further damage.